today, what I really want to talk about is Defender for Endpoint. It's only one of the Microsoft solution when it comes to security. Later on in further slides, I will show how easy it is for us to connect Defender for Endpoint with other Microsoft security solutions. And then this is why Defender for Endpoint is already very popular and is kind of getting momentum as well when we compare with other solutions. Again, if you never heard about Defender for Endpoint before, here's the best summary I could find from Microsoft. Basically, lots of people out there, they think Defender for Endpoint is an antivirus solution. Yeah, that's kind of true, but to be honest, the antivirus is only one of the main pillars when we are talking about Defender for Endpoint. What Defender for Endpoint really is, as you can see in here, is a platform designed to help enterprise network to prevent, detect, investigate, respond to advanced threats. And then in order to, to work in detecting, respond, and so in protecting, Microsoft split that in 6 different pillars. Let me quickly explain each of them, and then, of course, later on the next few slides, I will dive a little bit deeper and show some key information. The first one is the threat and vulnerability management. Years ago when we had a antivirus, we could see, oh yeah, a malware was blocked. A registry, someone tried to inject a registry key, and the antivirus blocked that. And pretty much, that's it. Very simple. In these days, the threats are becoming, they already became, I need to say, they already became much, much more advanced, more sophisticated, and we need lots of things working together. For example, the first one is the threat and vulnerability. It means for any organization, any Microsoft tenant, when you deploy Defender for Endpoint, in addition for the antivirus, what I'm going to explain in a few minutes, by the time we do the onboarding, the Defender for Endpoint engine starts straight away collecting all the information relevant with that device when it comes to missing configuration, missing patches, if the antivirus is enabled, disabled, if the antivirus is running out of date or not. And then this is absolutely great because on top of that, any organization with Defender for Endpoint will have 2 key scores. The first one is the exposure score, and then let's say the lowest you can get is better. If it's 0, it will be perfect. And then it means every time when Microsoft detects a vulnerability, could be on Windows 10, could be on Word, or Excel, on Google Chrome, it doesn't matter. Any vulnerability that is detected on any of the components, that will bring the exposure score up. Let's say higher, could go maybe from 5 to 10 or maybe to 15 and so on. On the other hand, and I will show in a few seconds how it works, on the other hand, we have the device security score, and then more is better. For our organization to be in a good position, we should aim for 85%, anything beyond 80, that would be great. When it comes for the SOC team, the guys doing the analysis, doing the alert investigation, so on, is brilliant, because when there is an alert on, I don't know, server 55, when they look the alert, they can quickly have a full picture, a kind of X-ray of everything that is related to that device. As I already mentioned, what are exactly the vulnerabilities on that server? What are the security improvements we should do to improve the security? What are the missing patches? And all of this information is in a single interface that gives a good advantage for people who are looking into the alerts. They really don't need to jump between different providers, different pieces of software to find out information. Anyway, that's the kind of, a summary from the threat and vulnerability. When it comes to the attack surface reduction, I have an interesting number to share. Looking for some numbers for Microsoft, the information I found was between 50 to 60% of the ransomware attacks they basically starts by macros. When users are clicking in macros, scripts, or some exit, but especially macros in scripts, up to 65%. The good news is the attack surface reduction. Talking about Microsoft, it means there are 16 different rules, and then on those rules you can block or you can allow some things like running PS exec, allowing people using WMI queries to make changes, allowing allowing Office products in creating child processes. And then this is really dangerous because someone from your organization could get a Word or Excel. By the time that person opens the file, a message could pop in and say, oh yeah, this file contains some macros, please enable the macro. And then if that person enables the macro, that could actually be a bad macro and could create a new child processes and run a PowerShell script on the background to take control from the device, to encrypt the device, or so on. And then this is why, as part of the configuration, the idea is for us to reduce the attack surface, to minimize, to block all of those scripts, block Adobe and Office products in creating child processes, and so on. And then, of course, if we block everything straight away, we could be blocking some good applications as well, some good scripts as well. And then the idea is to initially add as an audit mode for you to understand what would be the applications blocked if the configuration was in a block mode, and then eventually do the auditing, and then you can create some exceptions, and then eventually we change to a block. But very important as well, these components here in some other antivirus or security solutions out there, they might not be able to manage that. And then finally, the next one, instead to call an AV, this is what Microsoft called the next generation protection, where Microsoft uses not only the kind of old traditional AV updates and AV definitions. It's all based on machine learning, artificial intelligence, all the intelligent Microsoft is grabbing around the world to block any potential file or behavior even before it happens. The next one that actually works in conjunction with the antivirus is the endpoint detection and response, or the EDR. The EDR is all based on behavior monitoring. And on my testing and real life experience, I had, I was testing in a complex client. Basically, we disable the antivirus. We set Defender for Endpoint as a passive, and then passive means it doesn't take any protective measure. And we left only EDR up and running, just to simulate, a kind of crash on the device. And then for my surprise, a good surprise, I would say, when I run some malicious scripts and try to kind of do some bad things, AV was totally off, but the EDR was able to identify as a malicious execution and block that task altogether straight away. And then it means they complement each other, because today is not only about exe files, not only about malware files, it's about fileless attacks and so on. This is why the EDR is all about how each of the applications, how the device is performing in a day-to-day, and then if in a particular day there are some, let's say, weird things happening where the device is not behaving or the apps are not behaving the way they should behave, the system can detect that straight away. The next one is the auto investigation and remediation. That's, again, absolutely brilliant, especially for huge organizations when they have, I don't know, hundreds of alerts every day. Defender for Endpoint, we can configure. I will show later on how to configure the auto investigation in auto remediation, and even the system is able to auto close the alerts. It means if there is an alert, anything in Microsoft, the alert comes, Microsoft starts automatic investigation to check every single registry key, every single file, to perform a full scan. If Microsoft doesn't find anything suspicious, you can configure the system to auto close the alert. It means there is no human interaction in order for someone to go there, oh yeah, it's all good, I can close this alert and to move on. Because every time when there is an alert on the system, especially a couple of alerts, the risk level of the device changes from information to low level risk to medium and to high. And then until someone goes there or the system itself goes there and close the alerts, the risk level doesn't go down. And then, it's difficult for someone to know if the device has been, let's say, compromised or not, if you are not going there and close the alerts. And the last one before we move on, and then I will do some demos in a few seconds. If there is something kind of interesting enough running, maybe the analysts, all the people working on the security, they are not, let's say, too sure about some of the tasks. We can, as a client, customer, we can engage with Microsoft, and Microsoft provides Microsoft Threat Expert, a person. They will connect the tenant, and then eventually they can go over the alerts if needed, do a kind of second investigation, and then come up with let's say, what are the final result from the Microsoft eyes. Okay. Anyway, these are the 6 different pillars that make Defender for Endpoint a great solution for, in these days, any organization, including a small business, medium, or enterprise business as well.